Bloom. It says following Yeshua, welcome back again to the rock. I have been asked, following Yeshua, what does passion fruit look like? Well, I'm in my, what, it's supposed to be vineyard, but I also have passion fruit and gooseberries and some goji berries that I planted right behind. You can see that back there. That's my elderberries. But this is passion fruit. See, there's the flowers. I don't know if you can see that. That's the fruit. And it grows wild here. Literally, this year we'll probably bring in, you see some back there. It's growing everywhere. We'll probably bring a couple 100 pounds of passion fruit this year. We didn't grow any of it. We didn't plant any of it. Yah just gave the increase. Hallelujah. But this video is not about that. This video is about help. Well, I guess kinda about help. But in reality, I just wanted to talk about the idea that I was reading some articles in the news, and they were saying, or newspaper, internet, and they were saying that because rents are approaching what they're saying all-time highs, it is becoming near impossible for people to survive on one income. So people are facing evictions and homelessness because, what I'm gonna call it, an unwillingness to submit to the perfect ways that Yah has given us. What I mean by that is, I speak about it often. I don't want to single out anybody. But if you're running around in this society today, single, there is a severe issue that is wrong with you. Well, I can pay my rent. I ain't worried. You do understand that, I said it before, as society continues to get worse, the things that you used to be able to afford, you won't be able to afford anymore. And people are faced with daunting decisions because we want to remain single and have our own this and our own that and our own, and we don't have any friendships, brothers. We don't have any friendships with real brothers. I'm talking about you as a brother have a friendship with another brother who is also striving and walking a similar path as you. Instead, the brothers that you know are in situations equal to or worse than your situation. You can't pay your rent. They can't feed themselves. You're a sister, and you've thrown out the prospect of being married, of being covered. Whether it be monogamy or polygyny, you just threw it out because I don't want it. Now, as the family has been destroyed by this system, people are literally faced with some of the worst decisions that they could possibly make. And it's terrible. Mostly it's terrible because people chose these things. They chose these decisions. I look at a countless amount of people who had the opportunity to make moves in their life, and they chose not to because at the point in time that they were in, that moment, everything looked good. Well, I'm not worried because I got my own this and I got my own that, and everything looks good. And the thing about this is it's like the flood in the time of Noah. It's amazing how many of us can see things getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And yet, not only are we not preparing an ark, we don't care to prepare an ark. We don't even care to join with somebody that is preparing an ark. Let's say you didn't have the foresight and say, oh, I should have prepared an ark. Well, especially you sisters, you have opportunities to join onto men, join on the households that have prepared an ark, and you choose not to. Okay, so you didn't have the foresight and the ability to do it. But Yah, you had the opportunity. Yah was merciful. But that mercy, and this is the thing we don't understand about mercy, is Yah's mercy is not infinite. And Yah's mercy requires obedience. In order for you to attain the mercy of Yah, you have to start obeying. He's not going to be merciful to a person that's not obeying him. If you love me, you will keep my commandments. You want Yah to be merciful to you while you walk in continual disobedience, continually against the ways that he has put. He tells us to seek after the simple path, where you will find rest for your soul. Well, hey, it may be hot, but there is rest for my soul. My family eats. That right there is a huge patch of blackberries. Well, and some pokeweed. But a huge patch of blackberries. Let me show you, just so you can. This is all Jerusalem artichokes right here. All of this is Jerusalem artichokes. Well, look at this. I don't know if it's coming on camera. You see these? Blackberries. That my children, praise Yah, are going to be able to eat. Nutrients. I'm producing calories. When you work your butt off and your life is essentially paid for, you're not living a life of worrying about. As I look at the rent stories, I don't stress. I don't say, oh my gosh, what does that mean for me and my family? I say, for those of us that have prepared our arcs, that should be eye-opening to let us know what time in this we are. We should know, okay, times are getting bad. Not only are they getting bad, but the disposable income of people is gone for most people. Most people are living day to day, and after that stage comes violence. When people don't have the ability to entertain themselves, when people just start working and the only thing they're doing is they're working to pay their bills, they work to pay their bills, they start losing it. And I praise Yah. I praise Yah that I was able to hear those who he put in front of me and glean from the wisdom from them. And I'm also praising Yah that I didn't just glean it, I went and did it. It says in the book of Revelation that blessed be the doers, not the talkers, not the readers. If you understood it, I understand, then you would do it. That's not what's happening. So as this rent situation gets worse and worse and worse, and the family has been destroyed, what you're seeing is a ton of brothers and sisters that are now in situations where surviving is becoming a chore. They're having a hard time just surviving from day to day. Just surviving. And I did these videos because I just really thought that so many would look at this and be like, man, it'd be nice to be able to own 20, 30, 50 acres, to own your own place, to build with your hands, to work hard so that I can have an ark of refuge. It's better to be ready than to be still trying to get ready. It'd be better to have what you need, like the 5 wise virgins did, than in the last minute be trying to find out what you need. It's better to be established. I told sisters this. It's better for you to be established in a household as a viable contributor, covered, learning, walking in the ways of Yah, than for you to be trying to seek that out when it's too late. Brothers, it's better for you to have it than for you to be seeking it out when jobs are being vanquished, when crime is accelerating, when food banks are overrun, when rent costs are so damn high, and you are now in a place of desperation. Instead, we sucked on the titties of Babylon and Egypt and made Egypt our covering. And now that we see that Egypt is forsaking us, it was never for us. Instead of being like the Levites and not going into slavery, we were like the other tribes and went in because the Pharaoh promised us ample money to build Pithom and Ramses. If you don't know what I'm talking about, read the book. Read Jasher. So many now suffering. And I keep talking about suffering because it's getting worse and worse and worse. And so many people would rather pretend like they're not suffering. They get on their Facebook or YouTube, or they get on their Twitter and they smile and they post pictures of them doing things, and then they message you and, hey brother, can I borrow, a couple of $100? Can I borrow 1,500? You were just talking about how blessed you are on your Facebook. You didn't need help. Why don't you humble yourself and stop acting like, so many people act like y'all's blessing them and he's just not. And they know he's not. But they want to pretend on social media that he is. Meanwhile, the whole time, they're suffering. We can't even be humble enough to admit when we're in trouble. That person doesn't need any help at all. Brothers and sisters, times are changing. And I truly hope that you have gotten your household together and built your ark. Because those that are needing help are starting to become more and more secretly boisterous. But for a lot of people, they don't already know. Their ark doors have already closed. You've already sought and pursued the ways of the reprobate man, woman, and reprobate mind. I'm going to finish this up. Again, wonderful passion fruit. I mean, the flowers themselves are just beautiful. Look at those things. Praise Yah for his bounty. Make the moves, brothers and sisters. Humble yourself and make those moves. Save yourself from these times that are coming. And if your family and friends and people around you don't want to be, leave them and save your damn self. Shalom.